Okay, recording has been started
Okay.
for the event. So, yeah, so waiting for some people to join. We'll start.
Is there a place for Q&A, etc.?
Yeah, we can. We will have some time for open question and answer.
Yeah, so I think we should finish within about 45 minutes. So we'll
Sure.
definitely have 15 minutes for the Q&A.
Yeah.
So we are still not live, right?
We're live. We're already live. We
All
can
right.
we can start the conversation. So going live in 29 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, we can start whenever you say it's okay.
Sure. Yeah, I guess we can we can start off. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this 7th edition of our flagship event of IIT Kanpur Alumni Association Bangalore chapter. And so today we have our senior alumnus, Mr. Paritosh Segal, and he is a social entrepreneur, and we are very happy to have a chat with him today. So please make use of this opportunity to freely converse with him and ask questions, and let there be some good takeaways from today's session. So, and a quick introduction about myself. I am Prathamesh Kant. I am 2003 graduate from IIT Kanpur, and I am currently president of Alumni Association Bangalore chapter. And so over to you, Paritosh. And so why don't you start with your introduction? Talk about a bit of your IIT Kanpur experience, and about quickly about how you got into where you are. So yeah.
Sure.
Over
Thank
to
you, Prathamesh. Thank you. So first of all, I want to thank the IIT Kanpur Alum Cafe for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. It is indeed a great pleasure and a privilege to be here on this platform. Thank you. So I graduated in 1978, double E, and after that I've spent a lot of my time in corporates, and I also worked for 2 startups in between. But about the time when I had graduated in 78, that was the time when things were not very clear, though I had a lot of interest in the social development sector, but I did not have an idea as to how to go about doing it. Things probably were not as organized or as developed at that time. So when I decided to come out of the corporate sector, that was about 10 years back, that's when I said, well, let me now spend some time trying to understand the corporate sector, the social sector. And that's when I also work with 2 startups which are in the development sector. And with them, I used to travel a lot to several villages. So I used to go to villages in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. And that started giving me some insights. I also spent a lot of time meeting up with very good organizations that were doing stellar work in their different domains in the development sector, and also talking to their founders in terms of what opportunities, what challenges they saw, and how they went about addressing these. So those were very insightful. And about in 2014 and 15, I volunteered for a not-for-profit organization called GAP, Global Action on Poverty. And that's where, I actually came across a few like-minded people. And GAP was focusing on helping change makers scale their initiative. So that's where we started discussing that while we are supporting the change makers to scale their initiative, there is an opportunity for us also, given our diversified skills and complementary skills, to pick up a large problem in the social sector and then try and address it. So even if we tried it and failed, it was worth trying and failing than not to try at all. So that's how we actually got started, and that's how in 2016 November the seeds for NavSahyog Foundation were laid.
Wonderful. That's quite interesting to hear your journey and so to say your origin stories and your motivation. And I'm sure audience here would have uh, many of us would be able to relate, right? And so some of us who want to do that, and some of us who are already into it, right? So so tell us something about NavSahyog Foundation. What does it do, and about its journey?
Sure. So at that time when we got together, we said that we'll have to probably choose a sector, a domain. So somebody in the team suggested that why not focus on education? So we said, okay, fine. So then we started looking at what could be a big problem in the education sector. And as we started delving a little deeper into this, what we realized was that nearly 70% of our school-going children in India, and this is our education ministry statistics, are from the villages. So the school-going children, 70% of them are in our villages. And that's when we started thinking, then let us try and see what kind of problems the children in the villages face and what could be a big problem associated with that. So it was this that we started focusing on. And our initiative in Navsayoff Foundation is about developing life skills and creativity in the village children. And we do this through the means of sports, storytelling, emotional intelligence sessions, experiential learning, and creative activities. And these are the ones that we do on a daily basis in each of the villages that we work in. So currently we are working in 45 villages across Tamil Nadu and Karnataka in 4 clusters. And on a daily basis we conduct. So it's a very high touch point program that we actually execute.
Okay. Yeah. So why education sector? Okay. So if we talk about social sector, it can comprise of a lot of things, right? And there are many areas that we actually collectively as a community need to work on and collaborate with government and drive changes. So why education, and yeah, why do you choose Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, as you said, and not any other places? So what led to all that?
That's interesting. So yeah, actually this choice of the education sector was just probably a chance. We could have chosen any other sector because we were equally not enough knowledgeable about any of these sectors. So we had to do our deep study in any case. So somebody in the team suggested, let's focus on education. So that's how we started looking into that. So that was about that. But the other thing was how we started or ended up in doing work in Tamil Nadu to begin with. That's where we started our first initiative with 12 villages there. And that happened because, again, in Global Action on Poverty, the organization I volunteered to work for, that's where one of the gentlemen, when he came to know what we are trying to do, that's when he said that, hey, why don't you start your initiative in my villages? I have a presence in Denkani Kote Taluk, and I want to do something good for the community and the children there. So since we had to choose some place, and he said that he has a presence there, so then we started off with that. So that's how we ended up being in Tamil Nadu.
Okay, interesting. And a related question I have is about how did you assemble your team, And so what was the initial set of, so to say, the founding members of NavSahyog? How did you get to meet each other, and how did you get to frame your, so to say, initial set of mission and vision and have that initial founding staff? So tell us about that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting aspect. So, we're probably digressing a little bit, but maybe I'll very quickly touch upon this aspect. That I told you that in Global Action on Poverty, I came across a few like-minded people, and one thing, there were two things that were very similar in all four of us who got together, was that we had the same focus on the values and the same focus on execution. So if any one of us took up anything, we knew that the job will get done. Okay, so that's what brought us all together. Now, at that time we were four of us. So there is Nishwat Hassan, who started off along with me, and then Lijo, and then Vishnu Swaminathan. So these were the four of us who started off. But just when we had started focusing on identifying the specific problems, that's when two of them, that is Lijo and Vishnu, said that I'm sorry that we'll probably be acting as remote support for you, but both of them had to leave for US. So Vishnu was working as one of the leaders in Ashoka Innovators. So he was given an assignment to be in the US for 4 or 5 years. He's still there in the US. So he could not contribute. And then Lijo also said that he was doing an executive program in Yale. So he said that I have to be in and out of US. So I may not be able to concentrate on that. So that's how Nishwat and I started off this initiative. And after about a year of our starting, what happened was, unfortunately, Nishwat ended up with a situation where she had some financial difficulties. And because of that, she said that, look, Paritosh, I will not be able to concentrate on this initiative unless and until I put my house in order. So I will have to leave. So I said, okay, no problems. And that's when, because to Anand, who was the person who had offered that, why don't you start the initiative in Venkanikote? We had talked to him and he wanted us to at least be present there for 3 years. So he said, irrespective now that I am the only person left, doesn't matter, but we have given our commitment to Anand that we will continue with our initiative at least for 3 years. So I said, okay, somehow or the other, we'll continue as much as we can. And at that time, we had one, and I'm very grateful to him, we had one mentor for us. That was Sudhakar Varanasi. So Sudhakar is the one who was the architect of the ambulance emergency response service, the 208 service, which is there by all hospitals in all the states. So this is the one which is saving 1.2 million lives annually. So he is the architect and the initiator of that. So he has been our mentor and also as our advisor. So I spoke to Sudhakar also, and he said that, okay, let's continue and then see how things pan out. So I was taking help of, I had a challenge also that, I didn't know Tamil or Kannada or anything. And Nishwat was the one who had all these skills. She could speak Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, English, everything. So I had a big handicap in terms of how do I connect with my team members in the villages and in the cluster. But somehow, with taking help of part-time people who knew Tamil, I somehow managed. I used to take them along with me to. Hello, can you hear me, Pratmesh?
बोलिए.
Pratmesh, can you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
Pratmesh, are we on?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are on.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
All right. So that's okay. Great. So that's when somehow we continued, but then the time came that we decided that, okay, now this time we cannot rely on situations like this to be repeated. So then I reached out to Nishwat as well as to a few of my very good family friends and ex-colleagues in HP and Accenture, and said that this is the initiative that we want to execute. Do you want to join this as co-founders? So that's how they came on board. And then we had a very good joinee by name Aparna. She's done her master's in social work from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. So this is one of my objectives also, that irrespective of whether I'm alive or not or whatever happens, the initiative should continue. And it is my objective to really see that we bring in newer and fresher people with better ideas who take charge of this organization and then take this forward. So we offered to Aparna to be a co-founder, and then she finally accepted it readily. And that's been a great help to all of us. So that's how we've got the founding team now.
Okay. So how do you actually go about developing life skills in children across so many villages? So,
Yeah.
and a related question, did you also see cultural challenges across working in Tamil Nadu versus working in Karnataka? A set of things working at one place and needed to be completely fine-tuned to make it work at other location?
Yeah, very, very good point, Patmesh. So, first thing is that, we have, right from the beginning, we conceptualized this as a scalable model. So all elements that we have incorporated in our program are the elements which can be scaled very easily. So we've kept it very simple, scalable, replicable, and at the same time we keep our eyes and ears close to the ground and have the humility to understand that at the end of the day, whatever solutions, etc., we may come up with, it is ultimately the beneficiaries and the community who probably have the best understanding of what will work for them and what will not work for them. And these things have really helped us tremendously in coming up with a set of structure as well as processes that we are able to replicate irrespective of whatever be the location. So at least right now we have tried, North Karnataka, West Karnataka, we tried the Western Tamil Nadu, and now we've also made a presence in Eastern Tamil Nadu. So in all of these places, despite the local language differences, etc., we haven't really seen that we had to change any of our program elements there. So I'll give you some examples of the program elements. So, we decided to choose the traditional Indian sports to be conducted, like Kho Kho, Kabaddi, running races, long jump, high jump. In the COVID times, the contact sports like Kho Kho, Kabaddi are suspended, but then we conduct the yoga in its place and then do long jump, running races, high jump, etc. So these occupy very little space and don't require any infrastructure. So they're very easy to be implemented anywhere, and everybody is familiar with that. Similarly, about our creative activities, about drawing, thumb painting or building up stories, etc. All of these are, some things that are easily replicable. We've chosen a partner also for storytelling in the local languages. So this is Patham books, which are available in 23 different languages. So at any point in time, even if we have to start a program in Assam, we don't change any of our elements. Pratham books, the same very well graded books into 4 grades, relevant for different age groups, and all the stories are available in different languages. So it's very easy to replicate the entire program. So that's how we're doing it. And we have very structured processes. Plus, besides this, what we also have is a structure where in each of the villages where we operate, we appoint a village coordinator. This is typically a lady in the age group of 18 to 40 years. And she is from the village, so she is very well aware about the community and the children. And we select her carefully based on our qualification criteria. And then we train her on sports, storytelling, creative activities, emotional intelligence sessions, etc. And that's how she conducts the program in her village on a daily basis. Okay, they typically spend 1.5 hours every day after the school hours in conducting this. And on Sundays, we spend 2 hours doing the storytelling, the creative activities, and emotional intelligence sessions there.
Okay. Nice. So you're working with village children. So what is the typical age group, and how do you like classify these age groups into different categories? And then why did you decide to focus on life skills? Okay, in particular.
Sure. Yeah, good question. So we work with children in the age group of 5 years to 14 years. So when we identified the problem that we need to focus on life skills, we actually studied and connected with several organizations globally as well as within India who were doing the development of life skills at scale in a very consistent manner. So we wanted to learn from them. We partnered with some of them also. After shortlisting, we actually went through the experiencing their interventions also. But one of the things that we learned from them was that if you develop the life skills in the children in the age group of 5 years to 14 years, then these become habit forming lifelong for the children. So that is really the reason why we chose 5 to 14. Now, coming to the aspect about why we focus on life skills, I'll probably play a short video, if you allow me. And that's something that will actually address why we are doing what we are doing. So let me share my screen. I'll play this. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes.
So it's coming up, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It stopped. Sorry, just one. Do I have to stop sharing the screen and start again?
No, not really.
You're
Just
seeing
try.
the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just play the video. Okay. Again.
Oh,
Load the MP4 again.
okay. I'm surprised it's not working.
Is it available on YouTube by any chance?
No, it's not available on the YouTube.
Okay.
Let me just see if I can play it one more time and see if I
Okay.
can get it directly on here. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes.
2/3 of our school-going children in India are in the villages. The village children face a lot of challenges as compared to their urban peer. One of the obvious one is the lack of access to resources like good classroom, teachers, or books, etc. But beyond that, they also lack the guidance and support from their parents or elders. Because the parents, they themselves have either been early dropouts or never been to school. In addition, the parents are also struggling for livelihoods, and therefore they are working from 9 in the morning to 6 p.m. By the time they come back home, they're busy with the usual chores. As a result, they have either no time or very little time with the children. A combination of these factors and a few more leads to a situation where by the time the children come to class 8th or 9th or above, they find it overwhelmingly difficult to continue their studies and therefore they drop out. In India, 73% of our school-going children do not go to college. In the village context, this percentage is 90 to 95%. And when the children drop out, in addition to lack of complete education, they also have a very big handicap of not having the appropriate life skills like self-esteem, communication, confidence, teaming, empathy, resilience, values, etc. As a result of this, when these children grow up for their livelihood, they take up very low value jobs like being a laborer in the agriculture field or as a construction worker or filling petrol in the nearby village petrol pump. Initially, it is fine, but by the time they get married and have children, they find that this income is very meager, cannot support them or their families. And that's when they get into a negative spiral. They think that they're good for nothing, and then they take to alcohol, crime, violence, corruption. So this is what they think will help them address their problems. As for the girl children, because of lack of life skills like self-esteem, confidence, resilience, etc., they easily give in to their parents' suggestion to drop out of education or getting into childhood marriages. Again, largely due to lack of life skills, they are unable to resist early pregnancies, endangering their own health. Consequently, the children born to them are also severely malnourished. We are surprised, but this is a fact that village after village where we are going, the communities are telling us this is exactly what is happening to our village youth. So that's what I wanted to share with you. That the thing is that is really the reason why we are focusing on life skills, because it's a very important part. Now, if the way to address the challenges of the children is either we prevent their dropouts, which is something that we've seen that because of the underlying causes, this will probably take a few generations before this starts happening, that the dropouts reduce. Primarily because overnight you cannot have the parents becoming educated where they can start guiding the children, or overnight that the parents will have a extremely good livelihood situation where they are not working from morning 9 in the evening, and therefore they have enough time with the children. So the next best option is to really see that what can be done about developing the life skills in the children. Another thing that is there is that, if you really see, when these these children grow into youth, then they think that all opportunities exist in the urban areas, which is not true, because even in urban areas, we see that there are enough graduates who are going without jobs. So that is not a solution that therefore village youth need to migrate to urban areas. But at the same time, if we really look at where are the job opportunities in the villages, there are opportunities, but largely those are all agricultural based opportunities in the villages. But beyond that, there is a huge potential for opportunities. And those are the very large unmet needs that are there in the villages of our country. So, if our youth can be made capable, the only way they can actually earn a better livelihood for themselves is really to take to entrepreneurship and identify, look around themselves creatively and identify the real problems that or the unmet needs that are there in the villages and start addressing them. And that is really the opportunity. Today, if you take one example, we know that in the villages, there are the roofs of the homes are leaking. The huts or even the semi-pakka houses, there are leakages during rainy season. Now, parents are not able to sleep well during those rainy days, or also the children get fever and other illnesses because of that. Now, can there be low-cost, good solutions which are good quality solutions, cost-effective solution that can be there to fix these issues. And it is not that villages don't have money; they have money, but they need appropriate solutions for their context. And there lies a huge opportunity there. Now, today, if we tell these youth that, okay, why there is such an opportunity, why don't you go ahead and address them? Then they are not able to address primarily because they lack the life skills. They're not able to communicate their ideas confidently, creatively to others. They've never teamed with others before. They've never trusted before. So then they cannot form a team. It's not the work of one individual to execute on these opportunities. It requires a team of people to work together. So if I am not able to convey my ideas creatively to others confidently and also empathize with the others' ideas and to build up on an overall approach, I will not be able to succeed. And if I don't have resilience that the first time I face a problem, I give up, then again there is a problem. I will not be able to execute. The same thing that, if I'm not responsible and disciplined enough because of lack of my life skills, I tell people that, okay, now tomorrow 11 o'clock we'll come and meet and discuss this solution. Okay. And I end up there because not being having good life skills and not being responsible. I end up there instead of 11 o'clock at 12:30. Then nothing will work. And that is exactly what is preventing our youth in the villages from taking on to such opportunities effectively. And that is really the reason why we are focusing on developing life skills, going back to the root of the problem and trying to see that can we address it there so that when they grow up, they're able to pursue their dreams and create a superior livelihood for themselves. And that's our vision.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned about certain activities that you do to develop life skills in village children, right? So how did you identify and narrow down upon these set of activities, right? So what is the key philosophy behind the same?
Yeah, so there are lots of activities that we do, Prathamesh. So one of the things is about, as I mentioned to you, the life skills development through sports, storytelling. So I told you that when we identified that that's a big problem to address, what we did was we did not want to reinvent the wheel. This is something that is unfortunately happening a lot in the social sector, that people start developing their own solutions without looking at what others have already done. So we wanted to avoid that. So we really looked at what other organizations, good organizations, both within India as well as globally, have done in addressing life skills in children. And that's where when we talked to them, many of them told us that, look, life skills can be developed through art, through music, through theater, through dance, through storytelling, through sports, many ways. But they also told us that if you do the development of life skills through art or music or dance or theater, etc., then it requires an innate skill on the part of the instructor to be able to impart this skill in the children. And you may not find that skill everywhere. So it may not lend itself to replicability so easily. So that's where they said that you could do it through storytelling or through sports. And we then decided that we'll do it both. Because there are some overlapping life skills that get developed through both of these, but there are some complementary life skills also. Like, in storytelling, a lot of focus on creativity, on imagination, on memory recall, on communication gets developed, and also on values and culture. Whereas in the sports, you get confidence, you get teaming, you get empathy, you get resilience, you get camaraderie. So there are these other kinds of skills also that get developed. So we decided to choose both. And right in the beginning also, we felt that the children should grow in an environment where they are emotionally stable, and therefore we must hold sessions on emotional intelligence for them also. And secondly is also to evoke or invoke critical thinking and problem solving in them. So to do experiential learning for them also. So rather than everything being rote, can we impart them some experiential learning? So what I'll do is I'll just share with you a quick video about telling you about the kind of activities that we do, okay, with the children on a daily basis. Okay. So I'll just share my screen again. Okay. Is it visible? Oops. I think this is the cause of the problem. Sorry. I'll
Okay.
just go back. I will not expand the screen again.
Resolution? Okay.
No, I think I was expanding the screen to full screen, and that's when it doesn't
Okay.
allow.
Okay.
Sorry. I was being a little ambitious in this. Okay, let me go back. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's happening. Uh, Let me play another one, which is also a sample of. So we also hold quarterly competition. That also gives you an idea about the kind of activities we do on a daily basis, because the competitions are around on what we do on a daily basis. So I'll play this video. That this might also give you an idea about what we do with the children. That's also not going.
Okay.
All right, let me see this. If there is, let me just see. Just 1 minute.
Do you have any on YouTube? Let's play that.
Uh, there are give me a minute. I'll just get to this thing again. Sorry about this. So Aparna is my colleague. I'll just select the video from here. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's not working here. I apologize, audience, for this.
Okay. No worries. Maybe what? Okay. Is it?
Yeah, it's done. It's done. So this is about the activities we do on a daily basis.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
wonderful. So,
thanks.
one interesting thing you talked about was the word experiential learning, right? So, of
Yes.
course, easier said than done. So, how do you make sure that a lot of the learnings being incorporated in children are experiential in nature?
Yeah, that's a very good question again, Prathmesh. So, we had identified the experiential learning right in the beginning of our initiative, but we said we'll deploy it in phases. So, our initial focus was in storytelling and sports and creative activities. Then we included emotional intelligence from another partner organization. And then we were thinking about the experiential learning. So, what happened was that about almost 1.5 years back, uh, there is an environmentalist whom we are very familiar with. He had been his name is Mr. Niranjan Khatri. He had been applauding us, saying that you guys work in the villages. Why don't you get the village children to plant saplings of fruits, so that when the fruits grow, then they will be able to eat that, and that will help them with better nutrition. So we had been thinking about it, but we were not sure how this fits in into our own program of life skills development, etc. And it was the COVID time, actually, sometimes in April, May timeframe, that Aparna and I, my co-founder, colleague, and we started focusing and brainstorming on in terms of what can we do around the experiential learning part. And that's when we hit upon this idea about creating an entire program around the plantation of fruit saplings. So this is his idea was Mr. Khatri's idea was called Bank of Nutrition. That is a bank of nutrition being created in the villages. So we took that bank of nutrition idea and created a full-fledged program for 1 year around experiential learning. So where we made children to learn by doing things with their own hands, uh, learning about the values of these plants and their different parts, fruits and leaves and stems, and sharing with others, each others in groups with the children, and also collaborating with each other to make sure that they take care of the plants of everybody in the village. Okay, and also to take advice from their community elders about how to best take care of these plants, what kind of manure to be given at what time, how much water to be given, and if there are diseases coming in, then what kind of solutions, natural solutions that need to be put in there. So getting them to collaborate and seek out inputs from their elders in the community, and also getting the parents and the community to collaborate so that their village grows the best plants, because we ran a competition also of among the villages as to which village does the best implementation of bond. Okay, and also we got them to do a lot of creative things around this knowledge sharing, and we also made the children that once the fruits grow, then they would be sharing these fruits with each other, so getting them to team and collaborate with others. So there is a small video that I'd like to share with you about the project Bond and the experiential learning that we are providing to children through that. So I'll just play that. And I hope this time I won't make that mistake. Let me see. Is it this? No, not this. It's this one. Yeah. Can you see that, Ramesh? Great. Oh, this went off. I think it's jinxed. Okay, just 1 minute. Let me see if I can take this up from here. Mm. Okay. Mm. This advanced this a bit.
என்னோட வில்லேஜ் வந்துட்டு தோட்டிக்குப்பா கிராமம். எனக்கு வீட்டுல வந்துட்டு ஒரு செடி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. அந்த செடி பேர் வந்து மாதுளை செடி. இந்த செடி பேர் வந்துட்டு நான் செல்ல பேர் வச்சுக்கிட்டு வந்துட்டு சுத்தி சுத்தி எவ்வளவு அழகா வளர்க்கணும்னு நான் ஆறுதலா பார்த்தேன். என் வில்லேஜ் பேர் வந்து மரகட்டா. இது வீட்டுல இருந்து ஒரு செடி கொடுத்தாங்க. அது பேர் வந்து மாதுளை செடி. நான் செல்லமா வச்சிருக்கிற பேர் வந்து ஜக்கு. மாதுளை செடி மாதுளை பழம் கொடுக்கும். அது ரத்தத்துக்கு ரொம்ப நல்லது. ரத்தம் கம்மியா இருந்துச்சுன்னா அடிக்கப்பட்டு பூஞ்சி கூட பிரகாசமா இருக்கும்.
ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಇದು 6 ತಿಂಗಳು ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಹಣ್ಣು ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಉಪಯೋಗನೂ ಸಹ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
All
Yeah,
right. So sorry
a lot
about
of
this.
interesting work indeed, and I believe the audience today got to learn lot of new things as to what can be done and tried out. Right, we can see lot of comments in the chat section. Right, there is, for example, there is so much one can work for the society. Very good work. How
Thank
to
you. Thank
start is the real problem, rather than solving the problems at hand themselves. Right. So you do have a lot of appreciation from audience.
you.
So one important question comes about often, right? How do we really measure impact, right? So how have you approached this particular aspect about
Right.
measuring impact?
So that's true. So in fact, we again looked at what others are doing related to measuring the life skills. But actually, what came up was we took some ideas, but we also adapted our own form of assessment of the impact. Normally, in the social sector, people say that you don't do an impact study before 4 or 5 years of intervention that you've done because social changes take time. But what we wanted to do was not really as much of an impact, but we wanted to understand, take a dipstick that are we doing the right things and are we moving in the right direction? So what happened was 2 years after our intervention, we actually conducted a survey of children, parents, and teachers and asking them to rank on a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is a no change and 5 is a very high change, to rate across 24 life skill and non-life skill parameters as to what changes they've seen in the child from the time the child has joined the Navsayoff Foundation program. And the children were asked to rate the changes that they have seen in themselves. Parents were asked to rate on a scale of 1 to 5, only rate about their own child, not other children. And similarly, teachers were asked to rate on the scale of 1 to 5 about the children that they are teaching, not any other children. And what we found was that it was to our surprise, that just about all the respondents, that is, children, parents, and teachers, said that there are positive changes across these life skill and non life skill parameters. And more than 50% of them said, across children, parents, and teachers, that the changes that they've seen are high to very high across all the 24 parameters of life skills and non-life skills. And that was very gratifying for us. So then, this was in 2019, October, and then in 2020, we again conducted a survey in 4 villages, which we had just started the intervention 5 months back. And there again, we had similar results, despite the fact that we had begun our intervention only 5 months before. So it was becoming a little clear to us that even in a short period of time, you can start seeing reasonable changes of improvement across life skill and non-life skill parameters for the children. So that's what really helped us. I'll just show you one slide. Sorry, not this one. Yeah, this one is just the 2019 survey, and we have just in the process of compiling we've done our surveys across the 39 villages that we are intervening, and the results would be out in another 2 weeks' time. So this was the 2019 study, and it's very similar. As I mentioned, that the majority of respondents confirmed that the high to very high changes across 17 life skill parameters and another 7 non-life skill parameters. So the children's top responses were that the self-esteem, responsibility, discipline, empathy, they've seen a high to very high change. The 68% respondents here. Parents felt that the self-esteem of the children, as well as their empathy, their understanding the feelings of others, their ability to communicate without being afraid or shy, or the respect for others has gone up. From teachers' point of view, they found that the values have increased, and there's a high to very high change across. These are the 73% respondents, and the perseverance that they don't give up easily when they are told to do new tasks, or their memory recall, or their creativity. And similarly, on non-life skill parameters, the children and the parents and the teachers felt that they are a lot happier. The changes are high to very high. School attendance has gone up for them. They are energetic even after playing the sports, and their interest in studies has gone up. So this is just to give you an idea. And the same thing on the Tumpur study was also very similar about that. So I won't take more time sharing that, but this is a similar thing. Only thing this time, because the schools have been closed, so we haven't had the advantage of taking feedback from the teachers. So we have done the survey across the children and the parents, and the results have been the initial results that we've done for 5 villages at Halial show a remarkable similarity to this. So I'll just play one video more, and that's my last video. I'm sorry, and I hope there are no glitches in this. This is about the changes that children are talking about in themselves. So just let me share my screen again. Just. No, not this one. Not this one. Okay, this is my last video. So this is the children themselves talking about what changes they've seen in themselves.
ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯ ಹೆಸರು IITK ನಮ್ಮ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗೆ ಈ ನವಸಾಯೋಗ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ
Oh, I'm very surprised about this jinx.
Okay, maybe we can skip this. Okay, so you want to give one more shot, quick?
If it's okay, let me just try this. Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity again. Let's see. Sorry, just one. It's interesting that we all are from the technology background, and when we try out things, they work well, but in the real life, they don't work as well. So sorry about this. Yeah.
ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯ ಹೆಸರು IITK ನಮ್ಮ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗೆ ಈ ನವಸಾಯೋಗ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಊರವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೋಗೋದು, ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಬರೋದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗೋದು, ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗಿಂದ ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಗ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೆಲ್ಸನೂ ಮಾಡೋದು, ತುಂಬಾ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ವಹಿಸ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ. ದೊಡ್ಡವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಗೌರವ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಚಿಕ್ಕವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಗೌರವ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾನು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ತುಂಬಾ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯೋಗಾಸನದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ ಸಣ್ಣ ಯೋಗನೂ ಕೂಡ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಯೋಗ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇದು ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಕ್ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬರೀ ಫೋನ್ ನೋಡೋದು, ಟಿವಿ ನೋಡೋದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. இವಾಗ ஃபோன் டிவி நோடக் போகல. ஆಮೇல அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். என் பேர் வந்துட்டு மானசா. நான் கோட்டிக்குப்பம் என்ற கிராமத்துல இருக்கிறேன். இந்த நர்சையோக் ஃபவுண்டேஷன் இந்த குரூப் வந்துட்டு எனக்கு நான் 6th படிக்கும் போது ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணாங்க. அப்போ வந்துட்டு எங்க திறமைகள் என்ன, ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ்ல வந்துட்டு எங்களுக்கும் திறமை இருக்கு அப்படின்னு எங்களுக்கு தெரியவே தெரியாது. இது ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் சொல்லி கொடுத்துருந்தாங்க தான் எங்களுக்கும் இந்த திறமை இருக்கு அப்படின்னு எங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சது. அப்புறமா வந்துட்டு இந்த ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் வந்துட்டு வைக்கும் போது லாங் ஜம்ப், கொக்கோ, கபடி இப்பெல்லாம் வச்சாங்க, சொல்லி கொடுப்பாங்க. இது வந்துட்டு இந்த நர்சையோக் ஃபவுண்டேஷன்ல இருந்து வேற ஊருக்கு கூட்டிட்டு போவாங்க. அவங்க கூட்டிட்டு போய் அந்த ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வச்சு நாங்க வந்துட்டு ரொம்ப
அதே மாதிரி நாங்க போய் கொரோனா லெவல்ல இதெல்லாம் பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ணிருக்கோம். அப்படியே லாங் ஜம்ப் இதெல்லாம் நாங்க சின்ன பசங்க நாங்க சேர்ந்து விளையாடுறோம்ல. ஆனா ரூல்ஸோட இப்படிதான் இருக்கணும், இந்த ரூல்ஸ் ஒரு டீம் பண்ணா இவ்வளவு பேர் இருக்கணும், இதுக்கு மேலே இருக்கக்கூடாது, இப்படிதான் வந்து அவுட் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்றதுலாம் எங்களுக்கு இந்த நர்சையா ஃபவுண்டேஷன் வந்து பிடி டீச்சர் போட்டு எங்களுக்கு ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ணி நாங்க கத்துக்கிட்டுதான்.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய காலை வணக்கம். என் பேர் சித்ராதேவி. நான் தோட்டிக்குப்பம் கிராமத்தில் பேசுறேன். இப்போ வந்து நான் எனக்கு நிறைய ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் இருக்காங்க. வீட்டுல இருந்து யாரும் இருக்க மாட்டாங்க. இங்க வந்து தான் நிறைய ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஜாலியா இருக்கும். இப்பதான் எங்க வில்லேஜ்ல வந்து போட்டி வச்சாங்க. அதுல வந்து நான் 6 மெடல் ஜெயிச்சேன். இந்த 6 மெடல் ஜெயிச்சா நான்
Yeah, that's really wonderful, right? So, would request audience to stay put for another 15 minutes, please. Okay. So,
I really appreciate. I'm sorry about the technical glitches that we encountered. Sorry about this.
You would want to open it for audience questions, but I have one final question before we do that. Okay. What next? Or talking future, maybe 5 to 10 years from now. So, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to demonstrate?
That's a question to me, Pratmesh.
Yes. About your future.
All right. So we have a mission which we have set for ourselves is to really impact 60,000 plus children by being present in 2,000 villages by the end of 2025-26. Now, everything obviously, there's a lot of ifs and buts, primarily because of the funding. If that happens, we are very clear that by God's grace, we will be able to achieve that. And at this point in time, we've broken this target into different years, how many villages that we should be reaching out, so that by end of 25-26, we should be able to get to 2,000 villages. So as part of that, next year, right now we are in 45 villages. And next financial year, we should be, if we get the funding right, then we should be present in 200 villages by end of the coming financial year. And similarly, the subsequent ones, we would be adding another 350 villages. That will take us to 550. And then after that, it is incremental 500 villages every year, approximately 450 to 500 villages. And that will take us to, by end of 2025-26, to 2,000 villages.
You plan to go outside Tamil Nadu and Karnataka?
Yes, we are open to start our initiatives anywhere. What COVID also gave us the confidence that yes, we can manage things remotely also and manage it quite well. Because what we do is all of our village coordinators carry smartphones, and on a daily basis they share with us a video clip and 2 or 3 pictures of the activities that they conduct on a daily basis in the villages. So besides that, we also get the message from them about what time they started the event, the activities, from what time to what time, how many children came, how many boys, how many girls, and what were the kind of activities done. So we have a very good monitoring process and reporting process. These are all part of our processes also. And on a daily basis, we are monitoring this, and we can know exactly what is happening in each of the villages. So, of course, we all travel also to the villages, but as we start growing, it will physically not be possible. And therefore, we are relying now more and more on technology as well as the team members to deliver on that. And I must say that we are very grateful first to God for making things happen just by themselves. But next is, I think, it's our team, and starting from Aparna all the way down to our area facilitators, field coordinators, area facilitators, and our village coordinators. The village coordinators are the real heroes. And I would also add, it's our beneficiaries, the children, whose support is tremendous. Their enthusiasm and their excitement is tremendous, and the communities. So we are very grateful to everyone, and also our donors and our partners.
Yeah, nice. In case anyone wants to associate with you or want to become a part of your journey, okay, so what are the ways one can do that?
Sure. So one of them, of course, is we can start with very simple things. It's a very broad spectrum question, I would think so, Prathamesh, that people can volunteer and help us in various activities. There can be back-end activities that they can volunteer on, doing some research for us. They could be actually conducting, if they are familiar with the language skills, like right now Tamil and Kannada, then they could actually make field visits and help us with the program and improving what our village coordinators are doing, educating them. We are teaching them technical skills as well as the soft skills in conducting the programs for children. That could be a great help. Besides that, yeah, we are also looking for good, compassionate and passionate people to be part of our team. And thirdly, if they are really good, very committed, we are very open to having some of them become our co-founders also. So we're very open to that aspect. We want a strong team of co-founders going forward, so that older people like me should be becoming inconsequential very soon in the next several years. And the sooner that becomes, the better. And they should be the one who should be driving and taking the vision forward of NavSahyog Foundation. So we are very open, and as partners, if there are already organizations who are not-for-profit organizations or for-profit organizations who want to execute this program in their areas, we're very happy to share openly our processes, our content, so that they can execute it in their areas also locally. And that also helps us, because for us, the impact is more important than who does it. So we're very open to partnerships in that way also.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So scanning through the chat to find out user comments, questions. So one thing I would want to read out. Okay, so there is a comment. Many solutions are always passed by generations. These methods should be tabulated and hence not lost forever. Okay. Okay. So there is a question about life skills. Okay. So what it says, it may mean different things for different people. So what do you exactly mean by life skills?
So life skills, actually, there are very standard frameworks, even from United Nations, UNESCO, etc. They've worked on developing frameworks. But what life skills really mean are things like self-esteem, communication, confidence, creativity, teaming, empathy, resilience, perseverance, camaraderie. Camaraderie is that, right from the beginning, you should have the children feel comfortable talking and playing with children several years older to them and several years younger to them. And that's what happens in the real life, right? So life skills really mean that what skills would be important when children grow up in real life is exactly what we are talking about as developing life skills.
Okay. There is one question. Is it not too early to measure impact?
Yes, absolutely right. I fully agree. So we are not really doing the impact measurement. Actually, right now we are nearing that, because if you look at in the social sector, people talk about that 4 to 5 years is a good time of intervention. So we are nearing 4 years of our intervention. So it's a good time for us to actually do the impact analysis. So we are looking for newer methods also, additional methods besides the survey questionnaire that we are doing. So there are some thoughts and ideas, but we'll be looking at any additional inputs that anybody can provide us. We'll be very open to implement that.
Okay. Another question. With education, children will likely move away from villages and not want to do work there. So how do you make sure that children still connected to their roots?
I think the answer to that is surely, if we really look at a macro level, what happened, several decades back, where there were limited opportunities in our country, okay, and people migrated to US, etc. But over a period of time, people started finding that there are enough unmet needs and opportunities in our own country, right? And I'm giving the same, analogy to say that what is happening in the towns, urban cities, etc., today, where people think that the opportunities exist there, but those are for a limited few. we are talking about the bulk of the population, and the bulk of the population will find, if they have the right skills, that there are abundant opportunities of addressing unmet needs in the villages.
Okay.
And that's when they will take to entrepreneurship and address that.
Sure. I believe this question was largely answered, but still, if you want to add something more to it, what was the inspiration to start the foundation? Which sector you plan to work future years? If you want to add something, I believe this question has been answered.
Yeah, I think we've covered that, but we want to stay on with this domain till we actually see the benefits of this. So ultimately, eventually, we should see the children actually taking to better, superior livelihood opportunities, taking to entrepreneurship, and that would probably help us know that what we started off as root cause is actually helping them do that.
Okay. Have you involved and any sports coaches slash mentors in case you spot some outstanding child in a particular sports? So I believe the question is about what next for that child. So let's say you recognize some sporting talent, then have you involved some explored the idea of getting them some professional sports coaching?
Yes, so that is something that actually in one of the impact videos, one of the child was talking about, that I didn't know that I was good at sport, and then in fact, it so happened in one of the competitions, while this child started playing in the sports, but in one of the quarterly competitions, we used to get physical education instructors from other schools. And the physical education instructor, when they saw this child doing a 3.3 meters jump, long jump, they were really impressed. They said that this child has a huge potential. She should compete in the district and zonal levels. So that's when, we actually told this to the teachers, we told the parents, and then we got them to participate in the zonal and district level competitions also.
Okay.
Right. So that is what we are doing. We are also in touch with, there are organizations like, of course, our whole idea is not to develop children into expert sports people. The idea is to take everybody so that they develop the life skills. But yes, when we spot talent, then we are trying to refer them to the appropriate authorities so that they can be nurtured better.
Wonderful. Yeah. So, question about funding. So, does your organization come under the ambit of CSR for corporates, or
yes, we do.
What is your fundraising strategy? Yeah.
Great. So our fundraising strategy is in three parts. So one is that's how we started off, that we work with individuals who really trust us, know us well, and are very clear that if any money is given to this organization, it will be well spent. So they're the ones, and we have reached out to them saying that whatever you want to contribute, whatever be that amount, just divide that amount into three parts and give us one part every year. The reason is so that when they do this, we at least have a visibility of what funds to expect in the coming 2 years. And that strategy has tremendously helped us to be resilient even during the COVID time when, the CSR fundings, etc., everything went into the Prime Minister's Relief Fund or other COVID relief funds that were around. And the CSR funding, which was committed to us also, for our program, was deferred, or some of them came back, sorry, we can't do it this year. So the resilience for us, and we actually in March, before the COVID, we were in 21 villages. Because of this kind of a support and this kind of a strategy, we were really able to grow from 21 villages to 45 villages now during the COVID time. And this was one of the reasons. So the second strategy, so this is how we really value individuals, and whoever wants to contribute, we always request them to divide whatever they want to contribute, divide into three parts and give us one part at a time. The other thing is also it helps us to be on our toes, so that, if we only when we deliver well, that we will get the second and the third parts of contribution from them. So it works both ways quite well. The second is we are looking at corporates, and there are two parts. One is the medium to large corporates who could give us, roughly about 20 to 30 lakhs of funding to support our growth strategy. And the second is mid-range and smaller corporations that can probably give us funds in the range of about 5 to 8 lakhs of rupees. So those are the ones that we are really looking at how we can, do this. And third part of our strategy is how do we get on to crowdfunding. So right now we don't have FCRA, which is Foreign Contribution Regulations Act certification. So that will probably take us a few more years of operation before we get that. So till then, we are doing fundraising in India, and Give India is one of the platforms where we have started our fundraisers. So that is also there.
Sure. So I believe that also answers this question. If one wishes to provide financial support, how can one do that? Do you have a process in place?
Yes.
So I believe you answered.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. So I'll just probably share one bit here. Just 1 minute. So I'll share my screen. Sorry about this. Is my screen visible?
No. Yes. Now yes.
Yeah. I'm just doing something. Yeah. So this is. I'm requesting those who are watching, if they wish to contribute, they can take a picture of this, and this has the details of how the contributions could be done. So we have our contact details. If there are any clarification, etc., that you want, you can reach out to me or Aparna. And also for contribution, we have a Google Pay, which is NavSahyog 01 at ICICI, and that can also be used. But we can only accept contributions through Indian banks because we don't have FCRA. We will give you the ATG receipts for your income tax benefit. So please do share with us while you contribute. Please do share your name and PAN number and the amount so that we can send you the receipt appropriately. So if you can take a picture of this, and then probably we can take it from there. Our website is also there, and the Facebook also. So the Facebook has lots of our videos and other content that you can look at that. The fundraiser for Give India is also part of our Facebook page, so you can see that also.
So thanks for sharing the information. So on request, we have invited Jashankar Sharma ji on stage. So so GSS G, as we commonly refer to him as. So a few words.
Hi, JSS.
GSS G, few words from your side, please.
Namaskar, Paritosh ji.
Hi.
I think that we all very well know that you are a rare person who has been really basically behind this social entrepreneurship for rural areas. And we know that right from the beginning, our platform, social entrepreneurship and enterprises, you have been the prime mover, and we are proud of it. I know that it's very difficult path away from the glitches and dazzles of corporate, etc. And my one suggestion is that we have already done so many programs at sea, and you have already achieved whatever you have shown in the last 1 hour. I mean, it's not a very small achievement. I mean, by all means. So I think that in the sea, at least in our group, we should know all these things, and some of us will definitely get attached to your efforts with not only funding, not only regular participation, but also trying to help a few bright children coming out of your Jansahyog.
Thank you so
So I
much.
think this is the suggestion.
Thank you very much, Jesus. Really appreciate. All credit, first, of course, to the Almighty, but then second is to the team. And third is to the family, friends who have been the greatest cheerleaders, around and supporting us and encouraging us. Thank you very much for your kind words.
Thanks a lot.
So,
And thank you very much, Prathamesh ji. You have really conducted so well And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, आपके लिए भी एक comment है. You are looking very handsome today.
Oh, let me show you. Jesus asked, here is the, do you see this, Jesus? The C t-shirt. That's what I'm
Actually,
wearing.
Nice.
yeah, I have become trimmer. I have become trimmer by about 4-5 kgs, and I'm walking when I'm talking to you on
Thank you so much. Thank
rooftop.
you. Thank you all. Really
Thank you.
appreciate everybody's time. And sorry for the glitches, but really appreciate your patience to hear me out. Thank you so much. Thank you, Prathamesh. Really wonderful chatting with you.
Yeah. So thanks very much to the audience today for attending and staying put. And hopefully you had a lot of interesting takeaways from today's session. And happy to connect you with any of our speakers or any of us from Alumni Association Bangalore chapter in case you want to converse, okay, and have a subsequent level of conversations. Okay. Thanks to our management committee. Special thanks to Lokesh Sharma, our Joint Secretary, Alumni Association, Bangalore chapter, who essentially is the main executive behind this Alum Cafe series. So we conduct Alum Cafe series once every 3 weeks. So stay put for further announcements and also give us suggestions for next set of sessions also which you want to see about. Okay. So and apologies, we could not answer all of the questions. I still do see some questions from audience, but but in interest of time, unfortunately, we have to wrap this up. But feel free to reach out to Paritosh ji in order to get any of your remaining questions answered. Okay. So yeah,
Thank you very much.
we can close today's session. Any final comments from you, Paritosh ji, and we can close?
No, in fact, Prathamesh, I already said that I'm very thankful to the Alum Cafe for giving me this opportunity. It's really an honor and a privilege, and really appreciate everybody's encouragement. I see some of the comments there. I'm really very grateful, very thankful to all of you to give me this hearing. Thank you. And it's all because of my team, nothing else. I don't do anything. It's all happening because of the team that is there. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So we declare today's session closed. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you.